Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Middle Ground podcast. Welcome back if you've been here before. If you've never listened, you're in for a bloody treat, mate. Today we're going to be talking about the harsh reality of getting in shape and covering the things that people might not think about. When they think about the journey that they're embarking on or about to go on or thinking about whatever it might be, there's a lot of things that people don't realize come as a byproduct or a side effect of progressing and moving forward in your physical journey and your mental journey. And this isn't going to put you off. That's not the goal of this. It's not to say these are the reasons you shouldn't get in shape. It's just to warn you of some maybe unexpected challenges that you don't expect to face. Because then if you expect them, you can overcome them. They won't surprise you as much. And you're much more likely to keep on your journey at a steady pace rather than being thrown by them and it affecting your progress. So, I'm going to go through 5. So 5 things about getting in shape that not a lot of people realize. And again, the goal is not to put you off, just to warn you of some unexpected challenges. Okay? Number 1 is that you will face resistance from the people around you. Undoubtedly. Not everyone, likely not everyone. But there will be a few people around you that when you start making positive changes in your life, whether it's going and training consistently, getting to the gym, or taking more care of your nutrition, or journaling, whatever it might be, you will get pushback from those around you. Even if you have the most supportive friend group in the world that love you and, push you forward, there are going to be people that push back. It might be friends, it might be family, it might be co-workers. It's really important to realize that people that push back against things that make you feel better, that are positive, and that push your life forward in a better direction. If people are being negative or giving you scrutiny over those things, it is only ever a reflection of them, and it shows that they probably don't care about you as much as you thought they did. Because if you are showing them that this is making you feel better, that it's improving your life, and they're not happy for you, it's a bit of a red flag, to be honest. Because why wouldn't they be happy that you are feeling better, you are happier, you're more confident, whatever it might be? But it's bound to happen. You will face pushback, you will face scrutiny. And most of it isn't malicious, I'd like to think. It's just a result of a misunderstanding. It highlights the areas of life where people think that they might need to change. And the fact that you've done the painful bit, you've done the hard bit, you've accepted that you might need to change, you've taken active steps towards changing, highlights to them their lack of doing so. For example, someone that trains regularly and eats nutritiously, when you tell them that you're trying to do so, they will never go, oh, well, you shouldn't do that, like whatever, because it doesn't harm them. It doesn't highlight things that they're not doing because they're already doing it. Whereas if you go to someone that might be out of shape or whatever it might be, and you go, oh, I'm thinking about getting in the gym consistently and really looking after my nutrition, you might face a bit of pushback because it highlights the things that they aren't willing to change or they haven't decided to change yet. And that can be a hard thing for a lot of people. It can really be a really hard thing. So I don't think it's necessarily malicious. It's just a misunderstanding, and it highlights where people think that they might need to change. They just haven't reached that point yet. It's much easier to dismiss someone else's changes and progress than it is to change yourself. Because you want to make yourself feel better. In any way, shape, or form, you want to make yourself feel better in that scenario. And essentially you have 2 courses of action. You can either address the problem and begin to change and begin to improve your life as well. That will make you feel better. Or you can dismiss the changes someone else is making and call them stupid, or say that you don't need to do them or whatever it might be, and just and ignore them. Because that will make you feel better as well. There's obviously a more productive course of action there, which is to address the changes or to address the problems and change yourself rather than just dismissing them. But either way, you got to make yourself feel better. And I think a lot of people unknowingly as well. Like I said, it's not malicious, but they want to make themselves feel better. And the much quicker and easier course of action there is to dismiss the things that you're doing to reinforce their identity and their belief that they don't need to change. So expect pushback from those around you. Learn how to overcome it. Learn that it's never a reflection of you. Keep your head down. Keep on hammering. Again, if you can get people on the journey with you, that's massive. If you can get that support system, and there will be people around you that are very supportive about it. And if you can hone in on them, get them around you, you will have a much better time. You will have that support system around you. Secondly, this is a quote I absolutely love. And it's that your new life is going to cost you your old one. Absolutely love it. What a fucking banger. Let me say that again. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. Mic drop. Insane. You can't expect a different life with the same inputs. If you want a different outcome, you have to change the inputs. It's like... I don't know if I'm going to have an analogy for this. I don't have an analogy. But let's say it's like wanting to learn to drive a car. Right? It's like wanting to learn to drive a car, but just running instead and never trying to get a driver's license. Like you're never gonna get the license at the end of it if you never drive a car and you keep walking everywhere. So you've got to change the inputs. You've got to start doing driving lessons. You've got to practice. You've got to do all these things if you want the end result that is different, which is getting a driver's license. I'm proud of that analogy, actually. Off the top of the dome, I think that worked quite well. And this isn't to say you have to change absolutely everything about your life. I think that's a really big common misconception, that if you want this end result, you're going to have to completely uproot your life and change everything and get rid of the things you really enjoy. And that can be a really tricky thing for a lot of people, which I understand, because no one wants to do that. And if you think you have to do that, then that's massively off-putting. And people need to understand that you don't need to do that. That's not the course of action. You need to change the important things, the 90%, the exercise, the nutrition, the sleep, and the stress. And within those, there are very little changes. Nutrition, get more protein. Track your food. Look at your calories. Boom. Those are your changes. Can you eat out? Yes. Do you need to stop having takeaways? No. Do you need to, prep all your meals weeks in advance? No. There's ways around all these things, and the changes that lie within each important factor are very small, but impactful. You can waste 90% of your energy doing something that gets you 10% of the way, or you can flip it and use 10% energy using things that get you 90% of the way. It's very important to realize that where you put your effort matters. However, I'm slightly deviating. How you change these inputs is up to you and where you change them. But like I said, understand that it doesn't have to be an entire overhaul of your life, and it can be one thing at a time. You can change one input at a time to get this different result, but you can't live the same life that you've always been living and expect a different outcome. Like, that's fucking nuts. Of course that's not going to happen. It's just not going to work. It's the definition of insanity. I can't remember where the quote's from, but it's, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Not gonna happen, mate. And it's more so than just the inputs. It's how you respond to situations, how you respond to emotions, how you deal with things. All of those reactions are going to have to change. You're going to have to learn to sit with emotions better, manage your emotions, learn that your instincts and how to rewire them. For example, if you get overwhelmed and you're anxious and your normal coping mechanism is to reach for food, you're going to need to learn to rewire that and overcome that and change the person that you are, change the inputs that you have in order to get the result that you want to get. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's a good thing. I think that quote makes it seem a little bit scary. And it is scary, but it is good. To think that in a year's time, 2 years' time, maybe 5 years' time, everything that surrounds your person is going to be completely different. Everything that surrounds you as a core human being, so your actions, your habits, your values, your body, your head, all of these things, they're going to be completely different, and your life's going to be completely different. To me, that's massively exciting. If someone said to me, your life's going to be exactly as it is for the next 5 years, I'd be terrified. Whereas if someone says you're going to learn and you're going to change and you're going to grow and your life's going to change as a result, your body's going to change as a result, to me that's massive. It's hugely exciting. I get that it is scary. It's definitely scary. Change is scary. As human beings, we don't like change. But change is good and it's exciting and it will lead, hopefully, to a better end result. You'd rather change positively than stay the same and that be a less than optimal life, I suppose. Moving on. This is my favorite one on the list, I think, because it's quite a recent one for me. It's quite a recent revelation and it's sparked from an Instagram post I saw by the one and only Higher Up Wellness, Michael Smoke, one of the top guys in the industry right now in terms of compassion, but realness. I think people often get separated into one of two camps. They're either overly compassionate or they're overly intense, I suppose is the word that I'd use. You know, it's either understanding everyone's problems and making them feel better about themselves for them and kind of almost missing out on the progressive side of things, the progression and, you know, the bettering yourself because people are afraid to confront. And then there's the other side that have absolutely no compassion for anyone and just believe that people should be able to do the things that are hard and progress over time without any respect for people's differing situations. To me, Michael Smoke sits in the middle of those things as the pinnacle of what we should strive to be as coaches and as people. I'm licking room right now. This is crazy. Let me stop doing that. I love Michael Smoke though. Higher Up Wellness is one of my favorite coaches, one of my favorite creators in the game right now. But he made an Instagram post, and I might butcher it, but this is essentially what he said. You can either learn the rules of the game and bend them to suit you, or sit on the sideline and complain about the rules. How amazing is that? You can either learn the rules of the game and bend them to suit you, or you can sit on the sideline and complain about the rules. Now, in the context that I'm going to use this, it is nutrition, it's training, it's all of these things. And I think it's important to understand that you cannot avoid the game. You can't avoid the game. There's a lot of things that if you don't partake in, they don't matter. They don't, for example, basketball. I'll use that as an example. If I didn't play basketball and I didn't like basketball, that's a net zero on my life. It doesn't make my life better. It doesn't make my life worse. I don't reap any benefits, but I also don't really have any negatives from it, from not playing it. Now, when it comes to your health and fitness, you can't avoid the game. You are always playing the game. And you can either learn the rules of the game, you can learn about nutrition, you can learn about training, you can show up consistently, you can do all of these things, you can get this knowledge base that allows you to then bend the rules to your will and fit it around your life and let fitness become something that pushes you forward and that you use to better your life and not become your entire life. So that's bending the rules. You have to understand them first, but once you understand them, you can bend them. Or you can sit on the sideline and complain about the rules. Oh, I don't want to exercise. I don't want to eat well. I don't want to do all of this. I don't want to, and just moan about other people that are playing the game and getting better at the game. But just because you aren't playing the game doesn't mean you aren't playing it, if that makes sense. Just because you aren't engaging in the game doesn't mean you're not feeling the effects of not doing so. Like I used the example, if I don't play basketball, if I don't like basketball and I don't play it, I don't get any negative from that. It's just a net zero. But if you don't engage in health-seeking behaviors and don't care about your nutrition, just because you don't care about it, doesn't mean you don't feel the negative effects of not caring about it. You can't avoid this shit. You can't. It's how your body runs. It's how your body works. You will only ever, if you avoid it, you just feel the negatives. and it's a net negative because you complain. You just complain about the rules. So engage, learn the rules of the game, show up for yourself, focus on acquiring knowledge and building a structure that works for you, and then bending the rules to suit you because you have the knowledge to be able to do so. Burying your head in the sand gets you absolutely nowhere with this stuff, because like I said, you just get the negative effects. Then you don't get any benefit, and no one wants that. But I will move on to number 4, which is people will want answers and then not listen. So once you get in shape, once you're showing some progress, some results, people will ask you how you did it. At family functions, at barbecues, when you see friends, wherever you might be, people will go, how did you do it? You look amazing. What happened? What changed? Are you on this new diet? What's happened here? And the reality is that once you tell them how you did it, they will switch off, depending on what you say. If you give them some sexy, crazy, interesting story about this crazy diet that you followed that gave you all your results, they will stay interested. But if you've done it in a sustainable way, and a way that I recommend, which is not very interesting, but works, people switch off very quick. People switch off remarkably quick. As saying to someone, I upped my steps by a couple thousand a day and I tracked my food and I hit my protein and I strength trained 3 times a week. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. Because it's not sexy. It's not interesting. It's so boring. It's what people know they need to do. But they want the exciting, the sexy, the new thing. So be ready for people to not be very interested when you tell them how they did it or how you did it. And that's a good thing. To me, it's a great sign. If someone switches off as soon as you explain how you achieved the results you achieved, it's a good sign that you've done it in a way that is sustainable and didn't alter your life too much. Because if you were saying, if someone asked you, how did you do it? And you went, so I cut out all carbohydrates. I was running every single day. I was taking this juice that I was, this crazy juice, whatever it might be. I mean juice, not like steroids juice, by the way. But it's all these things, right? It's all these things that they haven't heard before. They're exciting and cool, and people get really interested. But as soon as you tell them things that they already know they should be doing, they switch off. So get ready for that. And then our final one. When you get to your goal, the work doesn't end. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't want to think about. A lot of people that are in the middle of their journey, they don't want to think about because it is quite overwhelming. The thought that, let's use, for example, if your goal is fat loss. People think that once they get to their goal weight, that's game over. Sick. I've done it. I've completed the game. I finished it. Amazing. That's when the work really starts, in my experience. Because you no longer have the constant reinforcement of a scale going down that's like your actions are being reinforced by that metric. You go, this week was a great week because the work I did correlated to this drop in something and this progress. And once you feel like you're putting in work and that scale isn't moving, it can be quite a difficult time for people. It can create quite a lot of dissonance between people's actions and their outcomes because they think, why am I doing this if I'm not making any progress? And this is why I stress to a lot of people and my clients and so on and so forth that you need a performance goal. Less so when you're in when your main goal is fat loss, because that can kind of be your goal when you get that progress there. But if you have a performance goal alongside it and something that you can carry through out of a fat loss phase and into a maintenance phase, it's giving you that sense of progress still. So all the hard work feels like it's for something. You kind of need an incentive and something to reinforce your actions. So having a running goal or a strength goal or a sport goal or something, or a competition to train for, they justify the hard work by letting you see progress in something, which is It does numbers for people's motivation. Because again, if you end a fat loss phase and you go into a maintenance phase and you feel like you're putting in a lot of work to stay in that calorie amount or to be in that maintenance, again, it will be less hard than a deficit, but so in some ways it's harder because you lose that reinforcement of your actions. You see a scale flatline and you're like, well, why am I putting in this much work just to not make any progress anywhere? Whereas if you have that, you kind of lose track of the scale and you push your metric changes to something else. It's your mile time, or it's your 5K time, or it's your deadlift. You see these numbers change in this new metric change, and the work is then for something. So during a fat loss phase, definitely awesome to have a performance goal alongside it. After a fat loss phase, almost absolutely fucking essential to have a performance goal. Or another goal of some sort, whatever it might be. But something that you can see a metric change and you can see the progress that you're making elsewhere. To kind of give that perspective on stuff. So when you get to your goal, the work doesn't end. Even when you get to the end of that performance goal, you might pick another performance goal, or whatever it might be. The work never ends. It's a lifelong thing. People don't realize that. You will be in this game for the rest of your life, whether you choose to play it or not. You are in the game. So, learn the fucking rules. And bend them to your will. I know that's kind of gone back to the last point, but I love it so much that it's stuck in my head. So those are our five things that people don't realize about getting in shape. We've got, you will face resistance from those around you. It might not be malicious, but you will face it. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. You're going to have to change the way you act to get this new result. You can't avoid the rules of the game. Whether you choose not to play the game, or you play the game and bend the rules, you will reap the benefits or the negatives of said decision. People will want answers and then not listen to you because it will hopefully be standard stuff. It won't be any crazy changes. It will be sustainable. It will be simple. Not easy, but simple. And then finally, when you get to your goal, the work doesn't end. There is always more to be done. There is always more work to be put in. It never ends. Which sounds overwhelming, but don't think about it. Just think about the next goal. Think about the next week, the next day, the next decision that you're going to make to push you forward. So there we have it. That is the harsh reality of getting in shape. Hopefully it didn't put you off. Hopefully it just made you aware of some possible challenges that you might face. I will get some guests on soon. I've just been enjoying doing these solo episodes and covering topics that I think are important and that I have wanted to talk about, but we will get some guests on and have some conversations and have some chats and get some other perspectives and so on and so forth. So it's exciting times in the middle ground world. But I'm Jude Venn. This has been the Middle Ground Podcast. Thank you for listening to episode 6. Like, share, subscribe, follow, leave a rating, leave a review, leave a comment. If you've got any other harsh realities, any things that people might not realize about getting in shape, leave them in the comments below on Spotify or on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Follow me on Instagram, Jude Venn Coaching. I will speak to you all next week.